Next up on ATVN Sports Extra, the Trojans have a bye week before they say hello to the mighty Oregon Ducks next week. We've got a look at SC's hunt for an upset. Plus, soccer faces off against the hated Bruins tonight. They'll look to break more than just the Bruins' spirits, why a record might fall at Troy. And it's that time of year. Basketball and volleyball practice start this week. Call us Judge Judy because we got the courts covered. Welcome to Sports Extra. I'm your host, Alex Wilk. USC is riding high off a big win over Cal, but the Trojans have to keep that momentum in a holding pattern this week as they spend their bye preparing for the mighty Ducks of Oregon. The BCS number 2 Ducks could enter the Coliseum as the top team in the nation next week. They're led by a speedy offense that has put up nearly 600 yards per game. Key to their success, running back LaMichael James. His 840 yards rushing are the third most in the nation among tailbacks. We talked with Coach Kiffin and defense to find out how they plan to attack the Quack.
It's great timing after the bye, and after playing a little bit better on defense, to have the biggest challenge, not just in the country, but probably in years. I don't know. I can't imagine that there's a bigger challenge, or that there has been for years, because of the players, but because of the tempo as well.
I'd rather, knowing what I know this year versus, the experience that we got last year. I'd rather get the pain and the exhaustion out now than, have that be on the field with us next week.
Their tempo, they're real up tempo with their speed of their offense. There's like 12 seconds or something like that between every play, so they're real fast.
I think honestly, if we prepare the way that we know how and we play the way that we know how, like we did last week, then I think we can stop anybody.
The Trojan defense was the unexpected star of the show last week against Cal. USC's gritty performance against the Bears gave Trojan fans their first glimpse of the old-school USCD this season. But the offense will need another big game to keep up no matter how well the defense fares next week. Matt Barkley and company showed they were more than capable last week and tied a school record for touchdowns in the first half. In fact, USC is one of just 5 teams in the nation that have piled up more yards than Oregon this season. Then again, USC has played one more game than the Ducks so far this year. Matt Barkley gave us the lowdown on how SC is preparing for a shootout at the OK Coliseum.
It's been great, high tempo, high intensity. We've got some good conditioning in, bright and early these mornings. It's been good just to keep us in the mindset of always competing.
Matt Barkley won't be going it alone next weekend. He's got a new star receiver in freshman Robert Woods. Woods leads the team in receiving yards, and he's pulled in 5 touchdowns in the past 2 games. We spoke with Woods about his emergence as a major part of USC's offense.
Because I'm new to the game, new to the college atmosphere, and just if I stay disciplined, I know I can do great things and just stay focused, and coaches do the rest.
Woods has been taking snaps at corner over the past few weeks as well. He has experience in the backfield. He played defensive back in high school. Woods may be needed on both sides of the ball. The injury bug seems to have finally hit USC. Fortunately for the Trojans, they have a week to recuperate before getting back to work. Defensive end Wes Horton did not practice this week. Another end Nick Perry and linebacker Malcolm Smith are also banged up. The running back core doesn't feel so deep either. Mark Tyler saw fewer snaps in practice this week, and Dylan Baxter and CJ Gable have not practiced due to injury. For an update on all things USC football, we welcome in Daily Trojan sports editor James Bianchi. James, welcome back.
Thanks for having me.
Tell us a little bit of what you think the goals for this bye week are going to be and how they're going to be preparing for Oregon.
Well, first and foremost, for the Trojans, their goal is to get healthy. Last week against Cal, they showed that both the offense and defense have found their rhythm. If they can maintain that against Oregon, they definitely have a shot to win the game. But the one thing that will prevent them from doing so is if they're decimated by injuries, both offensively and defensively, which is the case right now.
Obviously, the big matchup in this game is going to be USC's a little bit inconsistent defense versus Oregon's extremely consistent offense. How do you think that battle is going to win out?
Well, the Trojans have been preparing defensively all week in practice for Oregon's blur offense, which really is a high-powered, speedy offense run by quarterback Darren Thomas, running back LaMichael James. The Trojans really, with that extra practice, now they're used to that rhythm in game speed, the up tempo that they haven't really faced against other teams this season. I think they'll fare well. They've showed that they can adapt to adversity so far this season. Obviously, the size of the depth chart has been extremely limiting to the defense. they've addressed the challenges, and they've definitely accomplished their goals so far this season for the most part. So I really do think they can step up against Oregon and get done what they need to do.
One of the few knocks on Oregon so far this year is that they may not be quite the same team when they play on the road. Do you think that the fact that they're playing away from Autzen this season is going to make a difference?
Well, I definitely think it will be a difference. Autzen is one of the loudest stadiums in the country, if not the loudest. And, USC fans are going to have a field day. They're redding out the Coliseum or cardinaling out the Coliseum to, try to support the Trojans. I really think that will be the 12th man in this game. Taking away that Autzen crowd is huge, because I know that, that really does have a rattling effect on teams.
Daily Trojan Sports Editor James Bianchi. James, thanks for joining us.
Thanks again for having me.
Well, they say if you want college students to show up to something, all you need is free food. Well, USC Soccer is banking on a different strategy to draw in fans. Chance to root against UCLA. Women of Troy are looking to break a collegiate women's soccer attendance record tonight as they face the Bruins at the Coliseum. Sports Extra's Josephine Lee has a look at just how motivated the team is heading into the match.
The 23rd ranked women of Troy will butt heads against 19th ranked Bruins in a big Pac-10 matchup in the Coliseum. But there's more than just bragging rights on the line.
So we got two titles we're chasing here, the regular season and the biggest crowd to watch a college soccer game.
We want to do that, especially for showing how many fans we can get out in order to maybe hopefully get our own stadium someday.
Just over 7,800 fans showed up the last time the Trojans and the Bruins faced off here at the Coliseum in 2008. That broke the largest attendance record for any USC-UCLA soccer match, including the semifinals in 2007 when USC beat UCLA en route to their first national championship.
But UCLA has won 3 straight games against USC since the championship.
We haven't beat them since then, so it's always a huge rivalry, and especially just because they're so close to us, and it's just we know each other really well.
Just 4 players remain from the 2007 national championship team. That includes midfielders Megan Ohai, Ashley Sandoval, and Alyssa Davila, and defender Carter Haug. And they play an important role for the young team.
We wouldn't be where we are if it wasn't for those 4 players sharing their knowledge and their experience with the youngsters.
This is the last time the soccer team will be playing at the Coliseum this season, and sparks will be flying under the stadium lights Friday night. Josephine Lee, ATVN Sports Extra.
The team needs over 8,200 fans to break the record. The match kicks off tonight at 7 p.m. Over to the Galen Center now, where the eggs are hatching, the birds are chirping, and, all right, maybe it's not quite spring yet, but it sure feels like it, as 2 big spring sports are just starting to come out of hibernation. First of those, men's basketball. The team had its first full week of practices this week. Here's a look at what the new sanction-free men's basketball team is going to look like this year.
Men's basketball's first practice of the year was a physical one. The team is looking to rebound after an up-and-down season under first-year head coach Kevin O'Neill. Year 2 of the O'Neill era begins without 4 of the team's top 6 scorers from last season. But a strong recruiting class has the team feeling cautiously optimistic.
We've only really got 9 scholarship players right now. And 4 of those guys are freshmen. We are what we are, but we're gonna get better in a hurry. I mean, if you see us a week from now, we're going to be a lot better.
At least 2 of those freshmen will likely begin the season on the starting 5. Maurice Jones, a 5'7" point guard, and Bryce Jones, a textbook scoring guard. Perhaps the biggest difference from last season? No more self-imposed sanctions keeping them out of the postseason.
It's more fun to play when you know that you can achieve something. Like last year, we really played for nothing. This year, we can play for something, like make it to the tournament, like go to the Pac-10 tournament, try to win that. So it's way more fun to play this year.
It was a good first day. There was a lot to be learned, and coach was really getting into people, but, we made some big steps today.
The squad has its annual Cardinal and Gold scrimmage tomorrow at the Galen Center. Men's volleyball team springs into its spring season tomorrow. Trojans host 5 other teams in a preseason tournament. Sports Extra's Mason Wehrli has more on the team's hopeful return to NCAA greatness.
It's almost here. The USC men's volleyball team will host its first tournament this weekend.
We've been practicing hard every single day, competing every single day, and I think we're ready to go. Our coach likes to boast that we have the best conference in the NCAA. So every night we have to come out firing.
The men lost 2 of their captains from last year. The returning senior captains Murphy Troy and Riley McKibben will provide veteran leadership for the team.
We got a bunch of good coaches this year that leading us in the right direction, so it's going to be quite exciting to see what we can do this year.
With high expectations for this upcoming season, the men of Troy hope that some good wins this weekend can set them off right come November. Last season, the Trojans won the MPSF conference tourney, but then fell to Northridge in their first game of the NCAA tournament.
There's a lot of, I don't want to say bad blood, but there's a lot of teams that we want to, take down, and teams we lost to last year that we thought we could have, maybe beaten. But the plan this year is to take everyone down. I mean, everyone wants to take SC down.
The tournament kicks off this Friday afternoon at 2:30 here at the Galen Center as the Trojans will look to avenge last season's loss to the Matadors of Cal State Northridge. I'm Mason Wehrli, Sports Extra.
The team heads to Westwood in November for UCLA's SAC tournament. Well, the women's side has split its last 6 contests, but the 5th-ranked Trojans are looking to bounce back this weekend as they host the Oregon schools. The team says they're ready to right the ship at the start of a long homestand. Sports Extra's Eleni Press was at the Galen Center this week and talked with the team.
The women of Troy currently sit tied for 3rd place in a very competitive Pac-10 conference, and after going 1-1 each of the last 3 weekends, the women of Troy are hopeful that playing 2 games at home will give them some much-needed wins.
Well, they better be pretty focused because we're 4-3. We have a chance, if we can get a couple of wins this weekend, to be 6-3. That'll put us in the top half of the conference and still give us a chance to try to win the conference championship.
The number 8 women of Troy will host number 16 Oregon this Friday before facing off against Oregon State on Saturday. At the Galen Center, Eleni Press, ATVN Sports Extra.
Over to the pool now, where the Trojans are coming off their first 2 regular season losses since September of 2009. They dropped 1 spot to 2nd in the NCAA rankings. Sports Extra's Trevor Thompson caught up with the team to hear how they're preparing for a visit from number 6 UCSB on Sunday.
The team got off to another horrid start this past weekend against the Cal Golden Bears. They surrendered an early 5-0 lead and could never recover en route to their 2nd straight loss on the season. But this team knows it can't keep playing catch-up unless it wants to look up at other teams in the rankings.
We actually don't know. Seriously, we really don't know why we started so slow. And that cannot happen, that mustn't happen, and that won't happen again.
We've really just focused on our mental game this week, how to prepare for games better and how to really go out and get a start on opponents rather than letting them get a start on us.
Going down to number 2, like the passion to get back in and win the next game is just great. Like it's something that we need to do and something we're going to do. So
the Trojans won't get a chance to redeem themselves against Cal or Stanford until the postseason. But for now, they've just got their sights set on UCSB this Sunday. Trevor Thompson, Sports Extra.
Now, an early Halloween edition of our special commentary. It's fair to call a school an athletic monster when it gobbles up more than 450 national championships. But the beast that is USC Sports is still hungry for more. The insatiable creature has a new mastermind, and he's serving up a new menu for success. President Max Nikias told ATVN a women's lacrosse team is in the works, with a men's team soon to follow. For the uninitiated West Coasters, lacrosse is a big deal on the East Coast, and if you've never watched it, I have to lower my voice as a native Angelino here. It's actually kind of fun to watch. In fact, USC fans might really latch on to the sport. I mean, people go to water polo here, why not? USC has some good reasons for adding lacrosse teams. That'll boost Title IX numbers, and it's a great way to draw new recruits from the East Coast. Most of all, the beast is hungry. The school's stomach is already rumbling over lacrosse teams that could be competitive quickly. And why not? Nearly every USC team has been ranked this year. Plus, lacrosse is growing at prep schools on the West Coast, and the only real recruiting rival in Southern California is San Diego State. The monster's growing, sports fans. There may be growing pains, but the beast is ready for another meal. Soon, the special of the day could be sautéed Stanford lacrosse and some other tasty victories. Well, that's it for this edition of ATVN Sports Extra. Check us out every Friday at noon all semester long on atvn.org.